All right, welcome to Big Time Basketball, the basketball segment of the Fantasy Fanatics Podcast. I'm your host once again, James, and I'm joined once again by Nate, Terry, and Mete. What's up, guys?
Top.
So,
All right, in today's episode, we're just going to break down an exciting NBA Finals so far. We'll break down games 1 to 3, talk about what happened there. Then we'll just jump right into the series outlook, just take a look at, I guess, our finals predictions, how the series is sort of shaping up. And then we'll just head right into the preview for Wednesday's game 4. So, how does that sound, guys?
Sounds good. Let's get it done.
sounds good.
All right, let's just start off with game 1 of the NBA Finals. This first game was in Phoenix, and the Suns did win, and they won by a score of 118 to 105. It was a good first game for the Suns. Chris Paul led the game, 32 points for the Suns. Chris Middleton dropped 29 for the Bucks. DeAndre Ayton, 19 rebounds for the Suns, and Giannis was 17 for the Bucks. Both Chris Paul and Drew Holiday led their respective teams with 9 assists on the board. So, Mete, let me get to you first. I guess, what did you like from Phoenix in game 1?
Yeah, so what I liked from Phoenix in game one was Chris Paul. Obviously, he had an amazing game. Cameron Payne and uh, Cameron Johnson, I believe, they both also had solid games off the bench, and they were just very efficient. They only had 9 turnovers. They shot 96% from free throw, and they shot 46% from the field.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about how the bench scoring needs to, like there needs to be some depth for Phoenix. And I mean, they looked really good in this game. I mean, one of the things people talked about was the amount of foul shots that the Suns received. But I mean, they capitalized on them. That's the main point, and they did a good job of that. But Nate, let me get to you next. I guess just from the Milwaukee perspective, I guess what sort of went wrong for them in this game?
I noticed that only 4 players had over double-digit scoring. I guess there were a couple of players who were like a couple of points off, like Pat Connaughton, PJ Tucker, Bobby Portis. He didn't have a good scoring night. Normally, he can get you like at least 15 points. So maybe some more scoring from the bench would be helpful.
Yeah, that was one thing I noticed as well. It was pretty much, Giannis trying to force his way in, or Middleton taking outside shots. Like there just really wasn't much else from the team. Obviously, Drew Holiday didn't have his best game in this one as well, going 4 for 14 from the field. Definitely some improvement from him would help. And I guess, Terry, just getting to you, I guess just looking at the series after game 1, does Phoenix look like they were running away with it, or uh, do you think that the Bucks are sort of going to be able to make adjustments going forward?
I feel like they should make adjustments. I mean, this is why you pay Mike Budenholzer the money he gets. Head coaches usually help the personnel adjust to the other team's game plan. Having said that, unfortunately, I don't think they did it for game 2. But with that being said, it's a 7-game series. You have to make the adjustments along the fly. And with that being said, they eventually did that in game 3.
Yeah, I guess just using that as a way to get to game 2, we'll sort of do that right now. In game 2 on Thursday night, it was in Phoenix again, and they did win by a score of 118 to 108. So, I mean, they scored exactly 118 again. And I mean, their defense just, they played very well. I guess just looking sort of at the scoring in this game, Devin Booker led the Suns with 31, and Giannis led the Bucks with 42 points. He also led them in rebounds with 12. Ayton leading the Suns with 11. And then Chris Middleton and Chris Paul both adding 8 assists to lead their respective teams. This time, Nate, let me start with you in talking about the Suns. I guess just from game 1 to game 2, what did you like from this team?
I guess just the starting 5 in general, they've been pretty hot right now. I noticed that they didn't have as much bench scoring, but even with all of that, basically the entire starting 5 scored over double digits. they had some really good scoring from Devin Booker, Michael Bridges, and Chris Paul. So that's always good as well.
Yeah, just sort of looking at the game, I really like the way Bridges played in this game. He hit a lot of tough shots there. He was really solid, perfect from free throw also, which is really important. And then I guess Terry, getting to you sort of on the Bucks. I think this game was pretty much the Giannis show. He just pretty much went off. 42 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks. He went 15 for 22 from the field. um, I don't know what else is there to say about this Bucks team. This is Giannis's team. I guess what can the rest of the team do to sort of support him?
Just try to capitalize on those open shots. Unfortunately, tonight it wasn't their night. Brook Lopez 4 for 10 from the field. I think 0 for 2 from three. Same with Milton. Like he went 5 for 16 and 1 for 6 from three and field goal respectively. And with that being said, like when you got a guy that demands a double team like Giannis, uh, guys like Milton, Holiday, and Lopez all gotta bank the shots. Because I mean, if he's being doubled, you're not really expecting an efficient shot from a double team layup. But having said that, uh, sometimes it's not your night shooting, and this was basically that night for the Bucks.
And Mete, just getting to you now. I just wanted to ask you, what does Phoenix have to do to stop Giannis? I mean, 42 points is not something you should be allowing from one player. I guess what kind of adjustments do they need to make?
Yeah, there's honestly not much you can do to stop great players like Giannis, but I think their best bet would be so when he's driving, they need to bring in a extra help. So they double team him on the drive and probably leave a guy like PJ Tucker open. So whoever's guarding Tucker, I feel like needs to help out on Giannis, and they just gotta hope that Tucker doesn't make the open shot.
I think that's going to mean more minutes for Jay Crowder, considering Sarek is out with an injury. It is definitely going to be tough for this Suns team, I guess, just moving forward to do that. Let me just get to game 3 now. This game was on Sunday night, and it was in Milwaukee. The Bucks did win this game by a score of 120-100, so big win for them at home. Just looking at the stats, once again, Giannis 41 points to lead the Bucks, Chris Paul with 19 to lead the Suns. Giannis also adding 13 rebounds to lead the Bucks, and Ayton adding 9 for the Suns. And then Chris Paul and Drew Holiday both led their teams respectively with 9 assists. And this time, Terry, let me just get to you on the Bucks. I mean, they looked pretty much unstoppable in this game. I guess what was your takeaway from this?
Uh, you're down 2-0. You need to take game 3 just so you can like not make it like such of a must-need win for game 4. And they honestly came out with it. Home court advantage is very significant when it comes to playoff times. Sometimes during timeouts, you can't honestly hear what your coach is telling you if you're the opposing team. And probably there were moments like that in the huddles for Phoenix. And honestly, uh, Milwaukee's home court is going to be needed to take game 4 when needed, when they do play.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with all those points. And I guess Mete, let me get to you. No one on this Suns team had had 20 points or over. So it really looked like scoring was an issue in this game. I guess what do they have to do in game 4 to sort of improve their scoring output?
Yeah, you're right about that. They definitely had trouble scoring as they had their worst game offensively in this series. And then to answer your question, they're probably gonna need Devin Booker. He's not gonna have many nights like this where he's shooting 21% and 14% from three. So yeah, I think they'll be fine. Like the first two games, they were just so efficient, and I think like Terry said, home court advantage is big, and so they were away from their fans, and they should be allowed to have a game like this where the shots aren't going down. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I knew that the shooting efficiency would definitely drop a little bit uh, at some point during this series. I just didn't know it would be right away in game 3. It could have been expected though because they weren't at home, and I guess being in the Bucks home court, it's very tough. Um, Nate, let me get to you now. Um, I asked Mete this question after game two, and I'm going to ask you again after game three. What do the Suns need to do, or can they stop Giannis?
It's gonna be really hard to do. I guess the only two things you can do is try to force Giannis to kind of shoot from farther outside, and the only other thing is put up a wall of jerseys and hope when he passes out, the guy who shoots kind of throws a brick.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough though because if you're leaving a lot of guys there pretty close to the hoop, you're gonna be leaving a lot of open looks on the outside, and that's definitely not something that the Suns want to be doing. But I guess on that note, let's just move into the bracket here. Sort of looking at the NBA Finals so far. The Suns are up 2-1 heading into Game 4. Obviously, the home team has won each game. Um, Mete, let me start with you here. I guess what was your prediction for the series and how's it looking so far?
Yeah, I went Bucks in 7, and so honestly, I'm kind of losing confidence in the Bucks, even though they just won. I saw this stat saying these playoffs, I think they're under 500 on the road. So then, but they're really good at home, so they don't have home court advantage. They need to win all three of their home games if they can get it to game 6, and then they're gonna need to steal at least one on the road, which I don't know if they can do. So it's looking kind of shaky right now.
Yeah, I think you're right about that home court thing. Home court's definitely been a big advantage in this playoffs for both of these two teams, actually. Just looking at their respective series so far. Nate, let me get to you now. I guess what was your prediction for this series and how's it looking out?
I think if I remember correctly, I had the Suns in 7 games or something like that. I mean, the Suns definitely still have a chance to win in 7 games. It pretty much comes down to kind of limiting Giannis as much as you can and try to output the scoring that you can. I mean, the Suns, they definitely have the scoring to match the Bucks. It's just, I guess, how much you can outpace the Bucks by, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, and I guess the Suns have a lot of adjustments to do, sort of heading into Game 4. I mean, if they can steal that game on the road, that's huge for this series. But Terry, let me get to you now. I guess what was your prediction for this final series, and how's it looking so far?
I think this prediction was the biggest blur I ever had. I think I said Suns in 6, something like that. But at this rate, I can't even remember. With that being said, if I did say that, Suns do have to capitalize on the biggest game in the series, which is Game 4. And having said that, if you do win Game 4, it's going to be an easier clincher or series clincher when you go into Game 5. Because, I mean, it's going to be home court advantage, and we all seen how hostile the Suns crowd is to Giannis at the 3-4 line. And with that being said, I guess it's going all right, but if you want to win this series, if you're the Suns, you got to win Game 4.
Yeah, one of the things that I've noticed about this Bucks team is they're very tough to beat at home. Just looking back at their series, I believe the only home game that they lost, I might be wrong on that, but it was in the Atlanta Hawks series. They might have lost one more at home in that series. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe in the first two series, they were able to win all of their games at home, and that's very important in a series. Like home court should be an advantage for you. You got to capitalize when you're at home. You got to feed off the crowd. As you mentioned, Phoenix did do that in the first two games, so the Bucks definitely have to do that in Game 4. But I wasn't on the preview episode for the final, so I didn't get to make my prediction. So I'm gonna sort of give my prediction that I had already, and I had the Bucks in 7. I definitely like what this Bucks team has. I definitely agree with Mete on his prediction as well. The Bucks still can win this series, and they can win it in 7. We've seen them win on the road big time in this playoffs. They're not a stranger to having to do that in big games. So I mean, the way they looked last game, I think I'm getting a little bit more confidence in my picks. So I'll definitely keep the Bucks in 7 picks. So let's just use that as a way to get right into the preview. Let's just take a look at Wednesday's game. The Bucks are at home for this game, and they are favored by around 4.5 points. So Nate, let me start with you first. I guess who wins this game, and if the Bucks win, do they cover?
It's looking like it's going to be a close game. I think the Bucks definitely have the potential to win it. They're really strong at home, but I think the Suns should be able to keep up with them.
All right, and Terry, I'll get to you next. I guess do the Bucks win, and if they win, do they cover?
Honestly, I feel like the Suns might win this one. With that being said, I do feel like they will cover because the majority of these games are blowouts. And with that being said, I feel like whoever wins it is going to cover. Having said, just to summarize, Money Williams makes adjustments, and this Phoenix team goes to Game 5 with a 3-1 series lead.
All right, and then I guess Mete, to you, who do you like in this game, and if you like the Bucks, do they cover?
Yeah, I do like the Bucks, and I think they should cover because, like Terry said, all three games have been blowouts so far, and then so I feel like that trend might continue, especially with the Bucks being a amazing home team. So yeah, I'd run with the Bucks.
Yeah, I think I'm also gonna run with the Bucks here. I definitely like what they've done so far in the series. I know Terry did say that some of the games were blowouts, but I honestly don't know what the Suns have to answer for Giannis. I mean, when you drop over 40 points in consecutive games, the only reason the Suns won game 2 is because they were at home. I'm confident if that game was on the road, they wouldn't have won considering the way they defended Giannis. Clearly, whatever adjustments they made in game 3 just didn't work. So until I can confidently see the Suns, limiting his opportunities and sort of giving the looks to other players, I just don't have confidence in the Suns being able to sort of compete with this Bucks team. I know the Suns usually, they get off to a good start in games, they're up, whatever. But then, I mean, the Bucks, they're just they pressure. Whether Giannis is getting fouled, whether he's making buckets, whatever it is. So yeah, I definitely like the Bucks to win this game. And will they cover? I think, yeah, Terry, I'll definitely go with what you said. These games, they haven't been close. So I think if the Bucks do win, then they'll definitely cover. And I guess just your last thoughts on the series so far, Nate. I'm going to start with you.
I think it's been a pretty good series so far. They're two teams that I guess we weren't really expecting in the finals. So it's nice that I guess these two teams that have been pushing really hard for a really long time. It's basically kind of like a Cinderella story for both teams. So it's kind of going to be a fight to see who gets to, I guess, see their story come true.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think anyone picked this matchup heading into the finals. And if you did, I mean, you probably have some kind of foresight that none of us know about. But yeah, this is definitely not a final that we expected because, like we said, these two teams have never really made deep runs. Obviously, the Bucks have come up short in multiple seasons, and the Suns, I mean, this is their first playoff appearance in Lord knows how long. So yeah, it's great to see a fresh new matchup, and I definitely agree with what you said. And I guess Mete, any last thoughts on the series so far?
Yeah, we're gonna need the last half of the series to be more entertaining. I feel like there hasn't been a single close game, and it'd be nice to see a game go down to the wire, or not even just one game. Like if we could get all uh the remaining games to just be one possession games, or even like two possession, because right now it's just not even close.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of these games have been won by 10 points or more. The Bucks even won by 20 points in their last outing. So, yeah, definitely those down to the wire games is what keeps people sort of glued to the game instead of shutting it off at the end of the third quarter kind of thing. You definitely want to see games that are a little bit more exciting. And then, Terry, I guess just any last thoughts so far on the series?
Yeah, basically, I agree with Mente and Nate. and you on all your opinions. I mean, you need closer games to have the viewership up. And if people are just shutting it off in Phoenix or Milwaukee by the third quarter, that's not going to help. Having said that, this matchup does give the league a little bit more parity because everyone and their mothers thought one of the LA teams would have won and Brooklyn would have been in the finals. And parity is always going to be a good thing for a league. Having said that, Cinderella story versus I don't know the Disney story, whatever that means. Giannis versus Chris Paul. Which one gets to break the final chapter? We're going to find out. And honestly, there's probably going to be one close game, and I feel like it's going to be a closeout game. As for who's going to win the closeout game, I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I know I took Bucks in 7, but I would really love to see Chris Paul win a ring. He's totally deserved it over his career. I mean, just going back to, some of the teams he played for, he just really didn't have the cast around him to be able to do anything. And then when he did, he would just get injured at the wrong time, or, it would just be a bad game. And yeah, it's great to see him in the finals. I know Giannis is a special player. I know, Mete, you were talking about that and how borderline unstoppable he can be during games. I feel like that he still has a bit of time to win. If he wins this year, he's more than deserving of it. If he doesn't win this year, it's great experience for him. And then it would also be great, I guess, to see Chris Paul, pull it out. And then, yeah, actually, before we close out, let me just ask you guys quickly. Nate, this time I'll start with you. Um, I guess depending on the team that wins, who's going to win Finals MVP in your opinion?
I guess if the Bucks win, it'd probably be Giannis because basically the team is kind of centered around his offense, and he's been so dominant. And once he gets going, it's really hard to stop him in the post. So if the Bucks win, they'd probably give it to Giannis. If the Suns win, I think they'd give it to Chris Paul. He's been a really good floor general, and he's really elevated the team. I feel like even when he's not playing, it's like his influence is still on the court even when he's not playing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think I can definitely agree with that. He's just one of those players that he can pretty much take a team to the next level. We noticed some of those games where he had the COVID issues. I mean, the team still played so well just because of, like you mentioned, his influence, even when he's not on the court. So I think I can definitely agree with you on those points. And then Terry, just getting to you, I guess, in your eyes, depending on who wins, who do you think should get Finals MVP?
For whoever wins, easily, let's just say Giannis wins it for the Bucks. 2 40-point nights easily does that for a player, especially when you lead your team with points, rebounds, and blocks. If you look at the Suns, I mean, Chris Paul would be a great storyline for them being Finals MVP at this rate. I feel like the series is still young, and we're about to see maybe a change in the guard. Who knows? Maybe Devin Booker comes out with a 50-point game in Game 4, maybe even Game 5. We'll see. But if I had to pick one person, I guess maybe Devin Booker.
All right, yeah. There's definitely a few good options there for the Suns, and then Mete, I guess just getting to you, I guess who do you really see winning the MVP for the finals, just depending on the team?
Yeah, I'm with Nate and Terry for Milwaukee. I just think that, like Terry said, Giannis already had two 40-point performances, and he's definitely leading them in rebounds, probably averaging more than 10 for the series. So then I think that's an easy one for Milwaukee. And then if Phoenix wins, it's gonna come down to Booker or CP3, like Terry said. And as of now, it looks like it'll be Chris Paul. Game 1, he had that 30-point performance, and then I think game 2, he still outperformed Booker by a bit, and then game 3, Booker had a really rough night. So I would go with CP3 for the Suns.
Yeah, I guess I'm pretty much in agreement with you guys for the Bucks. I think Giannis is just pretty much got it under lock with those two 40-plus point performances, just being so dominant the way that he's been. I don't think that he falls short of 30 points in any more of their victories. In their losses, it's just going to depend on how well the Suns can defend Giannis. But I guess, Terry, getting to your point about potentially Devin Booker maybe being the winner, I think just after last game, that poor performance that he had, I think that really hurt his case. I think he had a very good case before that. I think it's pretty much Chris Paul at this point, unless for some reason Chris Paul gets hurt or he has a string of bad games. I really think that this award is pretty much a lock between Giannis and Chris Paul, but that's just me. It's just what I've seen so far. The series, I know it's been a little bit underwhelming when it comes to the score, but I think in terms of the quality of basketball, I think it's been very good. I think that both teams are playing extremely well. They've been healthy for the most part, which has been good because in this year's playoffs, there's been a pretty bad string of luck in terms of injuries. Guys like Kawhi going down, LeBron, Kyrie, James Harden. I mean, you can just go down the list of guys. Luka had injuries at one point during this playoffs. It's been a tough thing this year in terms of star power and injuries. So yeah, it's great to see that this finals has pretty much been injury free so far. Knock on wood. We definitely don't want to see any injuries going forward. Just keep watching them play clean basketball. And I guess to your point, guys, just maybe have some closer games. That'd be amazing. So that's going to be the end of Big Time Basketball. If you like this episode, make sure you check us out on Instagram and Twitter at FanFan Podcast. We'll be posting picks for the remaining games of the NBA Finals, so definitely go check that out if you need picks. Also, for these episodes, you can check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Like, subscribe, share. For YouTube, click the bell for notifications. Leave us a review, all that good stuff. And thanks again, guys, that we could talk about basketball once again. And we'll talk to you guys on the next episode.